live.
We're live. Hello. Hopefully somebody's joining us soon.
Oh, we don't
Hi.
have chat up.
Yeah, we'll get chat up. We're making this up as we go.
All right. While he's doing that, welcome everybody to Misty Mountain Games' first Win-a-Dual tournament for the Canadian Highlander, aka Canlander format. Thank you for joining us. We are really excited for what we've got.
Who are you?
I am Misty Mountain's own Chris Rogers, and you are yet another BK in Magic.
The original BK. I think the oldest one.
You're the oldest one?
I think so.
Are you older than Kibler?
Yeah, definitely.
You're definitely older than Kibler. All right.
In like soul, at the very least, right?
Probably. But you never actually said your name.
I'm Brian Kowal, and I own the store, and we decided to do a higher profile Canadian Highlander tournament with coverage. We're really excited to do it.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of people around the store who've loved the format forever, so we decided let's do some coverage, let's bring some great games to people. So hopefully you all join us at home and you're gonna sit back and see some great Magic, some unpredictable Magic. I think that's the best part. It's 100 cards. Everything's different in your deck.
While you're talking,
you never
I'll
know
go ahead and
quite
bring
what's
up.
gonna show up, you know?
Don't ignore that. We're not actually going to be right back.
So let's talk about Canadian Highlander. What is it? It's not just Commander 1v1, you know, it's its own thing. It's 100 cards like Commander, and there's no sideboard like Commander, but it's a 20 life format like Legacy or Modern or any of the other formats you play.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yep. Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
It uses the Vintage banned list. So anything banned in Vintage, like Dexterity cards, stuff,
On cards, Shahar's
stickers.
Yeah, all of those cards, those are all banned.
That still includes some really good cards. But instead of using a restricted list like Vintage would use, it uses a point list.
Yeah. So we'll head over to the points list right here.
Yeah. This is the point list. When you build a Canadian Highlander deck, you can only spend 10 points. The most expensive card is Ancestral Recall. Although I think Black Lotus is better, personally.
You think Black Lotus is better than Recall?
I think so.
All right.
But
hot takes already, right off the bat. We're full of them.
But Ancestral is really good. It's
Yes.
worth the 8. It's pretty good for the 8 points. It's a really easy card to build a lot of synergies around. And then it goes all the way down to 1. There's a lot more 1s than anything else. This is a very well shepherded format, you know, or guided format. They look at this list commonly, like multiple times a year. They have a committee that goes over it, including Benjamin Wheeler and a bunch of other people who like really look at this format and really look at what is it. And they make sharp bets. That's another thing I really like about their committee and what they do. They're not afraid to like lower something to 0, see how it does for a little while, and then come back to it later.
Yeah. It's a format that's clearly made out of love, and you can tell that everybody behind it wants it to continue to succeed. One of the interesting things about it, specifically the points list, is the philosophy behind it. If you noticed it, I'll actually bring it back up so that you can not see our lovely faces. Is that they, if you notice, most of the cards that are pointed are cards that are fast mana. You know, in a format that has no banned cards in it, you can understandably do some pretty busted things. So most of the fast mana cards are pointed, including the newly pointed Ancient Tomb. So cards like Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, all of those cards that are incredibly busted in terms of getting you going really fast, those are all pointed rather highly. And then also tutor cards. One of the native, not necessarily issues, but one of the puzzles to solve in a singleton format is how do you get consistency? And one of the ways that a format like Commander would do is you have to you just run all of the tutors.
Play lots of tutors.
Yes, you play all of the tutors. You know, so that your 100 card deck is basically 30 cards, and everything else is a copy of itself. And what they want to do, what they try to do with Canlander, is make sure that that is kept to a minimum, so that the inherent fun things about Magic, which is the variance of the deck and the game, the variance that is supposed to be you're supposed to get with 100 card singleton, is still there. You can run tutors, but it's going to cost you. So it's one of those really, really interesting puzzles to solve in the format, and that's what I think makes it really, really interesting.
Yeah, super cool. There's temptation to play stuff like Survival of the Fittest, that gets you, or like Artificer's Intuition, that gets you like the full access to everything in your deck.
Yeah.
But,
so they just try to make sure that, I don't know what I want to say. I'm just rambling at this point.
Yeah.
Sorry, new to coverage, everybody.
Lots of cool stuff. I think they're setting up the first. We're about to go to round one. They're setting up the match over there. We got a lot of cool Madison names around and a bunch of good regulars. A couple players to watch. I know Caleb Durward's in the house.
Yes.
He's a well-known streamer that you all know and love, and we'll probably get at least one match of him. Also, my buddy Lewis Kaplan and Jacob Baga both showed up.
Yep,
They're
Lewis,
pretty well known.
Long time Magic GP grinder, and also did you make it to a couple Pro Tours?
Yeah. I think they've all played at Pro Tours.
Yes. Also, anecdotally, Lewis Kaplan is one of my favorite human beings. He is.
Yeah, he'll be your favorite too.
Yeah, he is a walking ray of sunshine.
Yeah. And then we got all our regulars who are just like our personal favorite for this tournament that I hope wins the whole thing is our own Edward Johnson.
Yeah.
Redward Johnson, the most dedicated red player you will ever find. He only wants to burn, and he's probably burning today, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he's either burning or prowessing, which is basically burning at this point. He might be breaking his own rules and running some blue cards, which he notoriously is not a fan of. But actually, here, while we're talking,
I don't think he's going to run any blue cards.
Let's see. He's probably got him somewhere.
Yeah, he's right there.
Edward, there he is right there. Let's see what he's got here. Let's see.
We can share that screen too.
We could share the screen. Yeah, let's, where is that? This one. Yes. All right, here we go. Oh, well, let's move that.
Yeah. Let's sort that by
sort
mana
that
value too, or something.
Sort by mana
type
value.
or something.
Yeah, group by type, and also I'm not a big fan of the visual grid, but that's okay. It makes it a little bit easier to deck check. So yeah, this is what our local Edward Johnson.
I love the visual grid.
You love the visual grid? That's
yeah. So cards. There's another one that just shows a picture of the whole deck, right, or something.
I'm not sure.
It probably breaks down in these singleton formats.
But yeah,
it's a lot of burn.
It is a lot of burn. In fact, if you take a look at if you ever ask Edward at any point in the game, he can tell you what the odds are of him killing you next turn, just instantly.
He thinks about it every day.
Yes, he does. All right, I'm gonna actually leave this to you really quick. I'm gonna go check to see if we are ready to go. Yeah, I'll be right back. Go ahead and rip.
Yeah, so that's a red deck. And I've been having a lot of fun with this format, just brewing up cards. You can see in Edward's case, he's chosen 2 cards for his. Oh, you switched it off.
What?
You switched it off, but I was.
Switch. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to. It's okay, because we should be going to our match right now anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, they did not tell us that they started. Okay.
Are you kidding me?
Nope, they did not. All right.
All right.
So
well,
we
do
are
we know
joining.
Who it is?
Nope. Let me go ahead and delete these names real quick.
Man, okay.
All right. But I'm pretty sure that we have Win is one of these players. Let me see what's going on. All right. So the top player is playing. We have a couple. We have a Mox Ruby on the battlefield. Urza Saga.
Can you just pause? Just go ask Judge what.
Yeah, I will go ask Judge real quick. I'm sorry about this, everybody.
Yeah. All right. I'll talk. I'll talk you through here. Looks like we got a Sapphire Medallion deck on one side. I think that is Win playing it. He's been messing around with High Tide for a while. Not sure who he's playing against. And I'm trying to figure out what that card is. He's got which creature that is. What creature does he have in play? I don't even know.
Ben Smith and Win are the two players.
Ben Smith?
Yes, Ben Smith is the top player. We'll get that changed in just a second.
Did you get their pronouns?
I did not. Judge is doing a points check right now.
A points check?
Yes.
Okay.
WYNNE.
THOM.
As far as I know, yes. Yeah, we can fix that. Make sure you save those. Make sure you save them. All right. Anyway, I know that Win is on Storm. Win is a pretty prolific Storm player, or at least I'm going to assume that. Before we get deck lists up, and
he's had a lot of legacy success playing elves.
Yeah.
And it looks like this looks kind of like a 4-color good stuff.
Well, we can bring up his deck. Yeah. All right, so Mystic Sanctuary for Win, passing the turn. All right, so we've got an Urza Saga resolving. Let's see, we got draw for the turn. Okay. And I believe Ben is trying to figure out if he wants to pay mana for the Urza Saga or not to make the construct, and he is deciding not to. He is tutoring right now. Don't have his deck right now. Mardu Slugfest. Sludgefest. All right. So what are his hits for artifacts on his deck? What he would be searching for?
Looks like a lot of. He's got a triple mox set up here, and an ancient tomb for his points. He's
All right, so going all in on the fast mana.
Yeah. Got 5 moxes in his deck, counting the Mox Diamond, the Crow Mox, Lotus Petal, Shadow Spear, Skull Clamp. Those are the targets he can go for, outside of possibly an artifact land. You see. Though you can't get those with Urza Saga because they're in a casting cost of 0 or 1.
No, they do not. One of the ways that they made sure that Urza Saga wasn't broken. Yeah, so looks like Ben has chosen for Shadow Spear. We're going to try to figure out what creature that is on the battlefield as well. Meanwhile,
Where's
Win's deck? I don't know. Let's just
looking around, looking for it. We'll find it. We'll bring it up.
All right. Okay, so can you bring a?
Do you know what creature he's got in play?
I was supposed to say, can you bring his deck up so that we can try to figure out what card that is?
Yeah.
All right. Looks it might be a Witch Enchanter.
Looks like a black creature.
Ayara's Oathsworn. That is what that card is. So if you want to bring that up real quick, you just it's this card right there. So if you want to bring that card up real quick.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for being patient with us, everybody, as we try to get all this stuff sorted out.
First stream. There we go.
So Ayara's Oathsworn.
It's a menace 2/2 for 2. Whenever it deals combat damage to your player, if it has fewer than 4 +1/+1 counters on it, you add 1. You put 1 on it, and then if it has exactly 4, you get to Demonic Tutor in your deck. Just take a card out of your deck you want and put it in your hand.
All right.
Ben's going to add a Luminarch Aspirant to the board.
That'll get your Ayara's Oathsworn going real fast.
That's going to put a +1/+1 counter on
Ayara's Oathsworn. Going to go into combat, and let's see. All right, so damage has been dealt. Ben gets to Demonic Tutor basically for free for whatever card he's looking for to try to get himself in the best position to continue this this win here.
This is where I think Canadian Highlander gets. Whoa, what happened there?
Just hide this. Just hide this.
All right. This is where I think Canadian Highlander gets really interesting because there's so many options in the deck. It's really hard to. Why is it that?
What?
Oh, wait.
There we go. All right. Sorry, everybody.
All right.
Okay. Anyway, this is where you think Canadian Highlander gets to.
It's really cool because it's really hard to predict what he's going to get out of his entire 100-card deck, like as a commentator. So, what'd you do?
What? I just hit it so that we don't have to keep the card up the whole time.
We don't. We just. I isolated the window so you don't have to do that now. Did it do it again?
No. Okay.
Because see, now I can look at this and it doesn't.
Okay. You want to bring up chat?
Yeah.
We got some chat. All right. Is that a sleight of hand that win has resolved? Not exactly sure. There.
Randomly scroll on Twitch.
Okay. All right.
It's an ad.
Awesome. All right, so Win has resolved a Narset Porter of Veils, a really, really good Planeswalker, one of the best uncommon Planeswalkers to come out of War of the Spark.
The bots have found us. That's awesome.
I'm sorry, what?
The bots have found us.
The bots have found us? Yes. All right.
When reading that
That IR
that Oathsworn.
Yep. All right.
All right, Ben's going to untap.
All right.
Staring down a Narset has Win down to 10.
Yep, has 6, 7, 8 power available. Looks like there might have been a judge call. I believe I see Judge or Resident Judge right there watching.
He's got 9 on the board, counting Luminarch, Aspirant, Activation, and we'll see what he does with that.
All right, I believe. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I believe there was a judge call that had happened. So we're. Taking a look at Win's hand here while we're. Looks like he's got a Brainstorm and possibly a Dark Ritual.
Yeah.
Noticeably no black mana for Win, so he's really.
So Win's deck is High Tide.
Yes.
So what he's going to be what he's trying to put together is, well, that's
It's an Archon of Emeria.
Emeria.
Archon of Emeria is going to be really, really difficult for Win as it shuts down being able to cast multiple cards each turn. I've gotten beat down by this card several times.
A classic play on the Eidolon of Rhetoric. You remember that one?
Yes. Yes, yes.
All right. He's
All right.
he's
Win
going to
down
beat
4.
on a Narset, rob Win of drawing an extra card. Pretty smart.
Yep.
And Win
I
only
don't
able
know
to play
if-
one spell this turn unless he removes that Archon.
Yeah, I don't know how Win gets out of this. So got a Brainstorm, which could dig, but really can't.
He does have a Turnabout in his hand, which could buy him one turn. Which I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to use I think he's going to use that Turnabout here to tap all of his opponent's creatures. And
Yes, and hopefully buy himself an extra turn, one extra dig through his deck. Turnabout typically used by Storm players to be able to untap their lands while a High Tide has resolved so that they can net themselves some mana, but can be used in a pinch as defense to be able to do exactly what Win is going to do and save himself and try to get an extra turn. And
Looks like Win is in that awkward part where you're trying to get your opponent to that last minute before they're going to tap their creatures to attack, so that you can tap their creatures before they attack.
exactly.
All right.
All right, so Win has done exactly that, has tapped all of Ben's creatures. Ben, not really anything else to do, passes the turn. All right, Win, what do we got here? The draw is is that a Dark Slick Shores?
Some kind of black producing
It is
land.
a black mana, unfortunately. It might be a Drowned Catacomb. Unfortunately, it might not be enough. The draws for the turn. Limdal's Vault. I can recognize that in there.
That is going to be the only spell Win's going to be able to play this turn, thanks to the Archon.
Yes.
So whatever he gets is going to have to happen on his opponent's turn.
All right, yeah, I believe that is a Dark Slick Shores, as it is entering the battlefield. Oh, no, it is an Undercity Sewers, the Surveil land from Murders of Karlov Manor.
He's got to dump a Mind's Desire in the graveyard.
Yep, and then he passes the turn back with... What is that that blue card there? It looks like a pre-modern card.
In where?
In Win's far left.
Oh, that's a Cloud of Fairies. It cycles, and if it's a 1/1 that comes into play, it untaps 2 lands.
Okay. I believe Win is just making sure that Ben goes through the motions of taking him out this turn, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see... pretty sure we're going to watch Ben take this first game.
Yeah, it's pretty grim for Win.
Yep. All right. Combat has happened. Ben turning his creatures sideways, and Win scooping them up, going down a game. If we want to update.
Yeah.
All right. Also, I'm going to go do something really quick. I will be right back. Go ahead and...
Okay, we're going to go to sideboarding here, and the cool thing about Canlander is there isn't a sideboard. So both players just got to shuffle up here and get on to their next game. Win's going to be on the play here. I see, apparently, Chris fixing the life total so it matches our colors. It's pretty good. Play always important when you're a combo deck. It's probably the biggest advantage you get in Magic is when you're a combo deck and you get to go first.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look for Win's deck list real quick.
There you go.
Oh, I spelled his name right.
Yep. Win also a Magic judge himself, so yeah, very well versed in all things Magic. Also, just kind of a delight to watch. You are, yeah.
That's what we got.
I think they're gonna start though.
Okay.
I think they're starting.
Well, then we'll go back there.
All right. Yep. Opening 7 for both players. They're looking. What do you think an ideal opening hand is for Storm?
I think, well, ideally, if you put any card in your hand, I would guess it'd be like High Tide, just because that's something you're going to have to search for anyway in order to really get going. But anything like card drawing, or hand molding is going to be a big advantage. Looks like Ben's going to take a mully here.
Yeah. If Ben is at all familiar with Win, and even if he's not, players are pretty familiar with this format, so might be able to recognize somebody that casts Turnabout You with no artifacts is likely a Storm deck. So might be opting for looking for a more aggressive hand to help possibly take Win out before he gets a chance to storm off and do his thing.
One of the big ones you want is also Sapphire Medallion, because that's gonna Sapphire Medallion is a huge component of this particular combo deck. It's a blue artifact that makes all of recently printed in Modern Horizons 3, and that's going to let all of his blue spells cost 1 less, which generates a ton of mana when your plan is to play 7, 8, 12, 20 spells in one turn.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, I think if we want to bring up Ben's list real quick, we've talked a lot about Storm. Let's take a look at Ben's list here, since we didn't really get a chance to do that much. All right, presenting. All right. If you want to, can we have? Can you keep this up and then we keep an eye on the match, because Ben's drawing his next 6.
Yep.
No, this is what's on screen right now. So
yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
Looks like whatever Ben saw
like
in his next
mulligan.
7, he is mulliganing to 5, which is not where you want to be as a player. Fortunately, he is up a game though, so even if he misses out, he's not going to really miss anything, or he still has a chance.
Yeah. So what we have with Ben's deck, it looks like a Mardu best of the best creatures, kind of curves all the way up to 3. Only 2 4-drops, but one's not even really a 4-drop. It's a Witch Enchanter that you can play as an untapped land by paying 3 life. So some initiative stuff going on. These are probably Seasoned Dungeoneer and White Plume Adventure, probably the 2 best initiative creatures out there. The best discard spells and removal you can play.
It's got
and some Moxes, and of course the Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like Mardu 3 drops and really, really aggressive stuff. Let's see if he's got anything super spicy in here. He does have a Reanimate, which is pretty cool. Just as a way to try to get his value, and since Reanimate is typically you would expect to have on lower end, or not lower end, higher end, decks that run creatures that are really expensive, and Reanimate is a way to cheat stuff out. However, it can be used in aggressive decks to be able to get your best creatures back, because one of the things about small creatures is they die easy.
It's such an efficient card that it's really worth playing in a shell like this. And sometimes you just Thoughtseize some Reanimator deck's best creature and get it.
Yeah, Reanimate, notably any creature from any graveyard, not your own, not just your own. So we get to.
You messed me up.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry. All right. So Ben taking a look. It's probably going to be forced to stick with this hand regardless of what he sees, although I'm seeing a lack of lands in that hand, unfortunately. So he's going into the tank.
Rough set of mulligans here for Ben.
Yeah, mulliganing to 4 is not necessarily a death sentence in Magic, but it is definitely really hard to come back from. But it looks like he's keeping his 5. Also just realized that he has, I think that's 2 years ago, Dragon Shield Halloween sleeves. Really pretty set of sleeves. All right, and game is starting. Win is going to start with a blue-black duel that enters the battlefield tapped of some sorts.
We know it's not the Surveil land.
Yep, all right. Ben,
I think it's a Watery Grave.
It might be. All right. Starting with a Mox Pearl and an untapped Blood Crypt.
One of the favorite things of people playing this format is they get to play all the best cards. So getting a Mox out at turn 1, it hits really a little different. It's so much fun just to
I believe
play that powerful stuff.
Is that a Tide Hollow Sculler?
That is.
Yep, it looks like it is in fact a Tide Hollow Sculler.
Oh, good. I didn't recognize that one.
I didn't either. I was just guessing.
Well, Wynn's going to show a hand. It's a Force of Will, a Toxic Deluge, a blue card I can't entirely make out.
And then Mystic Sanctuary, 2 islands,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah. Win probably okay with anything that he takes because he can bring whatever is. No, Tide Hollow Sculler does not discard it. It stays exiled with it, I believe.
It stays with it.
Yeah, so whatever Tide Hollow Sculler eats here, it's going to be staying underneath that Tide Hollow Sculler. Ben opting for the Toxic Deluge, as that is the card that can kill it, basically, and also kill whatever cards Ben plays. Right. So we have an island. Didn't quite see what the draw was for Ben, but we're going. All right. Can't quite make out Ben's hand, but it does look like he probably has some twos as he is thinking about what to cast here. All right, going into combat.
Gonna swing in for 2, knock Wynn down to 18.
All right, what do we do in the second main phase? That is Swamp Cycling a Troll of Khazad-dûn.
He's gonna let him get any swamp in his deck he wants.
Yep. Swamp Cycling, very, very good. Also, if anybody has played any amount of Vintage Cube, a really good card to reanimate. The ability to have basically Super Menace having to be blocked by 3 or more creatures is not something to be trifled with.
Yeah, and one of his natural combos with this reanimate too.
Yeah. All right.
I think it's a Mana Drain. But no, it's
Is that an Anticipate?
Might be Anticipate.
I think that is
he's
an
looking at 2 cards, so I don't think it's Anticipate. It's.
Yeah, you want to bring his deck list up?
It's 2 cat. Maybe it isn't. It's
Deliberate. Yes, Deliberate. Scry to draw a card. All right, going back. The draw is Demonic Tutor for Win.
It's a good one.
It is a very good one.
Pretty much what you want, any card in your deck.
Yeah. Notably, I don't think Win has a lot of his key cards that he would probably want in his hand, like High Tide and a couple of other draw spells. So Win's probably at least 2 turns off from attempting to storm. So.
Yeah. He can get a wheel or something like that, which would load him all the way back up to 7. And usually a storm deck can take advantage of that a lot better than your play dorks and attack deck.
Yeah, he's definitely taking. Definitely has at least the Echo Vions in his deck. Okay, we're back to Ben's turn. Is that a Cathar Commando? Why would he have? Yes, it looks like that is. I think that is a Cathar Commando. Yeah, a 3/1 with flash. You can pay 1 mana to sacrifice it to destroy any enchantment or creature or artifact or enchantment. Another really good, just efficient white creature. Yeah, I think that's what Ben's trying to do with his deck. Just play a lot of low to the ground creatures with extra abilities and just try to out aggro his opponent.
Yep, the tension of the format of this game. Ben's ability to disrupt Win and knock his life total down to 0 versus Win's ability to pop off and remove his opponent.
Yeah. Chunking for 5 here. All things considered, this is probably pretty close to ideal for Ben for a mulligan to 5.
I'm not sure what
Is that a Sunbeam Canyon?
Win's win condition is.
He has a. Is he not playing Storm?
I'm sure he's got
He's got to be playing Storm. He's got that. Yeah, if you go, he's got Tendrils.
He's got Tendrils of Agony. Yeah. I don't even see a Brain Freeze in his deck.
No.
But I guess that's probably because a lot of people are insulated to that now.
Yeah. All right. So, end of turn, Win, fetching with another Undercity Sewers. Probably trying to get that selection, as Win is almost certainly aware of the fact that he's dying really fast.
Mold the hand, though. Just keep molding the hand.
Yeah. So he's going to get that Surveil off. The Surveil land's probably the best addition to Magic from Murders of Karlov Manor. Turns out that fetchable dual lands that have an ability when they enter the battlefield are pretty good, especially for combo decks.
Yeah, they're awesome. We love them.
Yeah, Win's hand just 2 lands, Mana Leak, Force of Will, and Demonic Tutor. So we'll see what he's looking at.
He's gonna surveil a Narset into his graveyard.
Probably not what you want to see as a Storm player, but seeing how fast Win is going down in life total, that's probably the correct choice. The draw for turn.
I don't know. I think I might have kept it. We'll see how it shakes out.
All right, Demonic Tutor being cast.
I guess already having the Demonic Tutor, he has a more efficient way to get any card he wants. Getting blurry.
There we go. Auto spec. All right. My guess is that Win might be going for one of those wheel effects, like you said. I don't know if he has Time Twister in his deck, but otherwise might be going for an Entomb, or maybe even Entomb to be able to put his Echo Vions in the graveyard so that he can build your own Time Twister.
I think if he's gonna go for Entomb, he might as well just go for Time Twister in this situation.
Does not have Time Twister. Oh, he does have Time Twister in his deck, yes.
Win's points, by the way, are
over. Yep, there you go.
Dig Through Time, Treasure Cruise, Mystical Tutor, Demonic Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, Spellseeker, Witchclaw Talisman. Everything in his deck, except for Treasure Cruise, seeks cards out of his deck for the most part.
Yes.
I guess Dig Through Time is entirely a tutor, but it might as well be.
Yeah, it's a functional tutor. Looking at the top 7 in a deck that is full of spells, we will figure out what Win grabbed shortly after the shuffle here. Also, Win has not played a land for turn, so there's a chance that Win plays this Mystical Sanctuary, or Mystic Sanctuary to put the Demonic Tutor back on top of his deck. Alright. The play is in fact Mystic Sanctuary, putting Demonic Tutor back on his deck.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Demonic Tutor a lot. I'm wondering if there's a 2-card combination that is just aces for his deck, where he just gets to really, do it all with easily.
Oh, there is a chance that he also probably might have.
My favorite would probably be High Tide into a Time Spiral. I think that'd be pretty.
High Tide into Time Spiral is pretty sweet. All right, we have an Orcish Bowmasters.
That's a big one.
That is,
because that is, if there's one thing Win needs to do, it's draw a lot of cards.
Indeed. It looks like, is that an Impulse in Win's hand? Impulse, Orcish Bowmasters, are those the 2 things? But yes, Orcish Bowmasters, it doesn't stop you from drawing extra cards, but it does in fact make it so that drawing extra cards hurts a lot. And takes away the best feeling in Magic.
Is this all in response to the Mystic Sanctuary?
I think there was some shortcutting done. Yeah, Win was shortcutting. Mystic Sanctuary being played. I believe it's actually Ben's turn right now.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like Ben's untapping, or did he attack already?
No, I didn't attack already. I believe that Orcish Bowmasters was flashed in at the end of the turn.
Yep, that was the end of Win's turn.
Oh, yes. All right. So, 8 power in the battlefield right now. Win's looking a little looking like might be in a little bit of pain here.
Yeah, Ben just needs to put 3 more damage together, and we all know playing red that you got a few of those in your deck.
Yeah, just a few. Couple ways.
That's the easy mode. There's like plenty other ways to get 3 damage.
Yes. Although it is worth noting that Win does have an Orcish Bowmasters of his own in hand, which allows you to deal damage to any target. So Win can flash in this Orcish Bowmasters, probably take out that Cathar Commando, and use the Orc Army.
That's an Oliphant.
Yes,
it's the red land cycler.
Yep.
I did see a Chain Lightning in Ben's hand, so he's ready to go if he gets all his creatures through.
Yes.
Probably that's not happening with Win's hand. My guess he's gonna handle that Orcish Bowmaster and chump block the Cathar's Commando if everything goes his way.
Yes, that would be my guess. I'm changing my guess, by the way, because previously I said use Orcish Bowmasters to take out the Cathar Commando, but that is not the best way. It'll probably be take out the opposing Orcish Bowmasters and use the Orc Army to block the Cathar Commando.
Yeah, get rid of the card that makes it impossible for him to win. The cool thing is, once he has a Bowmaster in play, if Ben can't deal with it, that becomes a win condition.
It does. Win could very possibly just turn his wheels like Time Twister or...
I'm sure if we look at Win's deck closer, that's a mode built into his deck. The draw robbing of like Narset, Hull Breacher, and draw punishing of something like an Orcish Bowmaster. I don't see a Sheoldred, but that's another popular choice.
Yes, Sheoldred probably a little bit too, probably a little too expensive for what Win is trying to do, and maybe something you would consider in a sideboard. But like we have said, Canlander does not have a sideboard, so. Looks like Elegant Parlor was the choice for the Elephant's Mountain Cycling. Just the Boros, the red-white Surveil land that, again, from Karlov Manor. Probably giving Ben just a little bit more chances to find ways to seal this game. A way to dig a little bit.
Judge just said 14 minutes left in the round.
14 minutes left in the round. All right, so we have an attack here for 8 or 7. Is that 7?
Mm-hmm. And here comes
here comes the Bowmasters. Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning looking similar to a Lightning Bolt, but that is in fact Chain Lightning, and that is a sorcery, unfortunately. So there's nothing Ben can really do here, as this Orcish Bowmasters is almost certainly going to.
Can't shoot this Orcish Bowmasters fast enough.
All right, get
his own Orc Army.
Yep, get his own Orc Army.
Edward got a great collection of tokens ready for us for coverage. Everything should be well represented.
Yes.
He even went so far as to look at all of the deck lists that people submitted, and look at the tokens that Moxfield said the decks needed. Dug those out specifically.
Yes,
so
there are a lot of heroes that went behind making sure that this tournament not only happened, but happened as we have Swords to Plowshares here from Ben. This is probably before blocks.
Yeah, he's doing that sort of. I would hope it's 4 blocks.
Yeah, so this is probably.
No, he did it after.
He did it after blocks. Interesting.
Maybe sometimes you miss the opportunity, but you still want to remove that creature to make sure you.
Yeah, not sure how familiar these players are with being on coverage, so there's just a chance that there's a little bit of jitters. It's also the first game or first match of the day, so we got a 5 rounds and a cut to top 8 today, so we're going to be in it for the long haul, and a missed opportunity here and there is going to happen.
Yeah, and the best thing you can do is get back on track. Make sure you play the removal spell if you think you need to.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Or if you're me, just hold it so they don't know you made a play mistake, because that would show weakness.
All right, the draw for Wynn's turn is that Demonic Tutor that was put on top of his deck with the Mystic Sanctuary.
Wynn should be in a good state. Do you think he Demonic Tutored for that Orcish Bowmasters?
I believe he did. I can't, because Anticipate is the other card that we didn't see him draw, and I can't imagine Wynn would Demonic Tutor for Anticipate, because you would rather just Demonic Tutor for the card that you would anticipate for. So, or not Anticipate, Impulse, the better Anticipate. So
I'm
pretty
guessing
heads up play by Wynn.
He's getting that time.
Yep,
twister.
there it is right there. That Time Twister is pulled out to the front. Time Twister actually probably not going face. It's going to allow Wynn to just kind of machine gun Ben's board, doing only 4 to creatures that Ben has, and then 2 to him.
Ben's just staring at that Chain Lightning right now and thinking, mistakes were made.
I don't know.
Should have blasted him.
Yeah, just send it to face and just hope to draw. Yeah.
Or blasted that Bowmaster.
He didn't.
Because now we're gonna shuffle up, draw 7 new ones. Wynn's gonna end up with a 7/7 orc army and get to do 7 damage however he wants to Ben's board. This is a big swing for Wynn.
This really is. There's a reason. There's definitely a reason why Wynn Demonic Tutored for it.
Yeah.
It's one of those cards that I think from the moment it was spoiled, people were looking at that card like, oh my goodness, this is kind of insane. And you're finding out firsthand why. As both players.
I know the first time I saw Demonic Tutor, I thought that.
Let's talk about Orcish Bowmasters, but there's a reason why it's actually interesting seeing both players playing wildly different strategies when playing a combo deck when playing a combo deck and Ben playing a more aggressive deck, both of them opting for the Orcish Bowmasters, showing the versatility of the card and also just kind of the versatility of the card. It just goes well in a lot of things. All right, both players shuffling up. Probably a little bit of conversation between the two of them. All right.
Ben's like, I got I should have bolted you. or the
Bowmasters. Yep. All
Bolting the Bowmasters would have put Ben in a really good position here.
Yes. All right. So both players drawing 7. Wynn opting for the draw multiple at a time. Ben doing the more deliberate ones at a time.
Wynn's now, he's going to point to his card. You shouldn't have drawn so many cards, sir.
What? Yeah. No, he gets to draw 7.
Yeah, he does, but he's punishing him for it.
Yep. All right. Yep. So the good old 4-2. Oh, and also Wynn getting the Toxic Deluge back too, which is kind of a big deal because that means that whatever it is that Ben draws, it's going to almost certainly die to the Toxic Deluge.
That's going to be 3 damage upstairs too.
Yeah. And just the cheeky attack for 1 here with the Orcish Bowmasters, showing no fear, having done its job already and now getting extra chip damage. Wynn discarding for turn. It's always a good feeling when you get to discard having a full grip of 7 cards. All right, so what does Ben have? Ben has at least a Thoughtseize in hand. Is that a Thoughtseize Inquisition, I believe? I don't know if he has any other ways to... He's almost certainly.
Thoughtseize for sure.
Yeah, he's got the Thoughtseize. Let's see. Can you bring up Ben's list? I wonder if he's got anything that can kind of get him out of this situation here that he's found himself. Does he have Solitude? He does have Solitude in his deck.
Fury.
Fury won't save him from a 7/7.
Not really, no.
Fury is a very good magic card, but dealing 7 damage is not one of the things that it can do without a lot of extra help.
Yeah, and Win's just like a Snapcaster Mage or something away from just doing it all again.
Yeah, in fact, well, Win has Demonic Tutor in hand, so Win can... Oh. Or wait, no, Win does not have Demonic Tutor. I forgot that we shuffled everything. This is a 1-mana white card. Is that a Sentinel?
That's an Esper Sentinel.
Esper Sentinel, yeah. Esper Sentinel, one of fans of... Is that one of the new...
Maybe got the right artwork.
Yep. What's the aura?
He's putting...
It's got a...
Something...
It's got something with landfall. And now a Thoughtseize.
Oh, is it a... What is that thing?
Toxic Deluge. Oh,
a Glyph Elemental? I think it's a Glyph Elemental.
Yeah.
Let's bring that one up, because I don't even know what it does.
Meanwhile, Win showing his hand of Snap, Cloud of Fairies, Toxic Deluge, Ponder, and Deliberate. And 2 islands. Okay, what do we got? Landfall, put a counter on it, Enchanted Creature.
It's kind of a white bristly bill that you can drop on top of something.
Yeah, Landfall putting a +1/+1 counter on a creature is really, really good. One of the new cards from Modern Horizons 3. Also, very, very good with Esper Sentinel. If you want to bring Esper Sentinel back up, Esper Sentinel has that really annoying Rhystic effect that players, especially Commander players, love to hate. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, which Win has a lot of, you get to draw a card unless they pay...
First you get to say, are you going to pay the...
Yes, are you going to pay the X, actually, as Esper Sentinel's power is 3, I believe, actually. I think Glyph Elemental natively gives a +1/+1. All right, Win untapping here.
Nope, you only get a +1/+1 for each counter on it.
Okay, all right, so...
Which is really not intuitive, Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Win happily letting Ben draw a card here, as Win's probably pretty close to winning. Still in a pretty good spot here with that 7/7 Orc army. Oh, also, Win might have missed a trigger here, as Ben drew an extra card, and I think... Does Orcish Bowmasters only do...
It's anything outside your regular draw step, I believe.
Yeah, so... Except for the first one they draw in each of their draw steps. Yeah, so Ben should be taking an extra damage here. It's probably going to get missed. I don't know how they feel about us calling this out.
It's an optional trigger. So,
it is not an optional. It is a must. I'm going to go see Judge real quick.
Yeah, I'd check. I think beneficial triggers still work where you have to declare them, but could be wrong. So we have Fatal Push on that 7/7. Which Chris would call an 8/8. Win's gonna consider what's happening. Win really needs to work on the clock, I think. It's going to be hard to finish this match if it goes too much longer.
All right. So as ruled as a miss trigger, nothing happens. Doing kind of a modified comp REL / regular REL thing here.
Win's gonna scry 2 again and draw a card. That card I can't
Deliberate.
deliberate.
Yes. Scry 2, draw 2.
Yeah, another card about thinking about stuff.
They really like their 8 cards for 2 mana instants. Anticipate, the original one.
Play that Cloud of Fairies. It's going to untap 2 lands for him. Basically a free 1/1.
Very good in a deck that is all about casting as many spells as possible on each turn. However, passing the turn here, that Cloud of Fairy is probably just being used as a chump blocker.
That's a pretty lackluster post
Time Twister.
On Wynn's side.
Yeah.
There's so many things he has to be able to do to punish. You missed it, but Ben chose to fatal push the token, leaving the Bowmasters in play.
Yeah, that's actually probably the correct choice, as there aren't, as we were talking before, there aren't a lot of spells in Ben's deck that deal with that 7/7, and that 7/7 just kind of blanks his entire board. And while 9 is a low life total, it is not low enough for Ben to just kind of take out through the face of a 7/7.
All right, here's a big one. We're got a reader here. I can't recognize that card
Is
myself.
that go up? It's a Neem Pakal, I believe.
That's a Neem Pakal. Let's check them out.
ANIM. All right. Whenever you attack with one or more non-gnome creatures, put a counter on it, then create a gnome artifact. Well, create X 1/1s, where X is the number of counters on a Neem. Okay. So, just kind of one of those creatures that can kind of snowball really fast. Esper Sentinel is not a gnome, so we're going to get a trigger off of this Neem Pakal. And
it's kind of a fancy Goblin Rabble Master. Only it makes many more tokens.
It does make more goblin tokens. Tapped and attacking.
Gnome tokens.
Yep. All right. Time and Around has been called for the main matches out there. I'm not sure if Time and Around is for the feature match or if they're operating on a slightly different clock.
I'm gonna assume they added a little.
Although this is interesting, it is game 2. So if Win pulls off a win here, then we'll have a draw in the first match. All right, so what do we got here? We have the attack with. All right, so taking 1 from the gnome. All right.
Some gnome damage.
All right, Win has a Vampiric Tutor in hand, so we have a Giver of Runes as the post-combat play here. Good old Stepmom from Modern Horizons 1.
Is gonna Vampiric Tutor.
I believe. Yep.
See if he can chain a couple wheel effects to end this game in one turn.
I'm imagining that Win's probably going to try to get probably a Time Spiral would be my guess, as that is the one free one that he can cast. Because I don't.
Time Spiral's great right here.
Time Spiral is really good.
He might just have something that finishes them off, though. I don't. We'll see.
I can take a look at deck lists. Let's see. Just taking a look at Win's deck list to see if there's anything here. I mean, he might just get Tendrils. He might be able to.
Did Win pay the 3?
Win
Doubtful.
did not pay the 3, although there are 3 extra lands tapped there. I don't think he did. I think both players might have missed that trigger. Okay, players are on. This is turn 1.
It looked like Ben pointed to his Esper Sentinel.
Ben was putting the Esper Sentinel on top of the, or they might have been reading it. So there's a chance that he just that he did play it. Oh, well, the Vampiric Tutor
Because what should have happened is Ben should have drawn a card and Win should have got
another
a
damage
Bowmaster activation.
If that's the case, then I think Win did actually pay the 3.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
This is a Time Spiral.
That's Time Spiral?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. Looks like everything's getting shuffled in, except for the Time Spiral.
Time Spiral is kind of the king of the wheel effects. 6 mana, but you do get to untap 6 lands after you play it, which is kind of all you want.
It is really all you want. Win ideally would be doing this with a High Tide effect happening right now, but never able to actually get that combo assembled, so just doing his best to try to come back here. He's going to be able to draw 7 more cards.
He's not... Oh, wait, never mind. That Time Spiral's in play. It was like, I hope he's not shuffling that thing in.
No, yeah. He's not shuffling it back in. Win very, very practiced as the Magic Online promo artwork for...
that means it's a proxy.
It does mean it's one of Win's 10 allowed proxies. All right. Both players about to draw 7 cards here. Orcish Bowmaster's going to once again go into machine gun mode. Probably not going to be taking out creatures, though. It's probably going to all be going face, would be my guess.
Yeah, I think... Well, you never know.
You never know. But I think Win's Ben's choice here is to get Ben down to 5, and then he has so many extra ways to possibly get like a Tendrils or other effect.
Did we miss Esper Sentinel trigger again? I think we did.
Okay, Win is just taking out everything, taking out the Anim Pakal, the Stepmother, Giver of Runes, and the Gnome token. Leaving Esper Sentinel in play. There might have been yet another Esper Sentinel mistrigger.
Yeah, I believe if you miss the trigger on Esper Sentinel, it only triggers on the first.
It is only the first non-creature spell cast of the turn. All right, so now we have I believe that is is that a Sleight of Hand? No, that is a Thought Scour. All right, Flood of Recall, I believe, was the draw off of Thought Scour.
That's a pretty big one. Oh, I guess not now.
Win, looks like Win is probably just trying to set up for trying to win on turn 3. This is
a frantic search.
It is a frantic search. Draw 2, discard 2, untap 3 lands. Yet another one of those effects that gets to replace itself, or just kind of a free spell. Again, one of those things that's really, really nice in a Storm deck.
I see a dig through time for Win, which is good.
Discarded 2
Pretty
islands. Nice. Real question. Got a Lorien revealed in hand. What else? It's kind of hard to tell. I think there's a Mana Leak. Recognize that orange background anywhere. Young, early days Magic Chris is screaming.
That's it? Mana Leak?
Yep, been Mana Leaked so many times in my life.
You got some Mana Leak damage, huh?
Yes. Cathar Commando flashed in at the end of Win's turn here. Can you pop chat? All right, we're going... Sierra's Saga going up to 2 here, now being able to create Constructs. Thank you. You can just bring that over here.
It's got to be Avery, right?
I don't know. Dull Zero, if you're still watching, thank you. Thank you for viewing.
Yeah, appreciate it. You the real MVP.
All right, so we've got a Tide Hollow Sculler in Ben's hand. Notably, if Ben can get this match get this game to a draw, Ben gets to win this match 1-0 to 1, which is still a win.
You got a Scully.
I can imagine Tide Hollow Sculler is probably going to take this dig through time. Maybe the Limdol's Vault, although Limdol's Vault is a little bit scarier for Win to be able to do because, okay, Win opting to cast Dig Through Time in response to this Tide Hollow Sculler.
Wise.
Either not sure if Tide Hollow Sculler has resolved or if it is.
I think it's in response.
In response entirely. We have the One Ring, Brainstorm, Demonic Tutor. I believe that is a snap. And
definitely taking that Demonic Tutor, probably that Brainstorm too. Brainstorm Demonic Tutor is quite a combo.
Yes, Brainstorm also being able to hide Win's best cards from Tide Hollow Sculler if he cannot find a way to counter it.
Good point. Yeah, I love the. I think he took a snap.
Yep, took snap and. What was the other card? Demonic Tutor.
This is.
All right. Tide Hollow Sculler.
No offense to Ben, but this is the worst Esper Sentinel I've ever seen. I guess that is offense to Ben. I'm sorry, Ben. I miss triggers all the time.
Yeah. All right, so Win revealing his hand of Snap, Mana Leak, Demonic Tutor, set Flood of Recollection, and Lorien revealed Limdol's Vault and an Island. Got there with all of them.
Well,
what do we take here?
Yeah, there's not. This is a situation he just doesn't have a very good. I think if I were Win here, I think I would have just Mana Leaked to.
Yep. Ben opting to take the Snap, as Snap is the card. Snap, for those not in the know, 2 mana instant. Return target creature or non-land permanent or something, might be permanent. Return something to its owner's hand, and you get to untap 2 lands.
Oh, Snap.
Yeah. So Snap would have been able to return Tide Hollow Sculler to Ben's hand and get whatever card taken with it back to Win's hand. So one of those unfortunate circumstances for Ben where his pick is actually just kind of picked for him. All right. Landfall trigger, growing the Esper Sentinel.
Some long extra turns.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a relief as a player if you hit turns, because then you don't have to. You kind of get to relax a little bit and think a little bit more about your plays. Not slow playing by any stretch of the imagination, but you get to think.
Deliberating.
Yes. All right. Prismatic Vista to play.
Our first round is so deliberate.
It's been an interesting first round for sure. You would think that with an aggressive deck, it'd have been able to either close out or lose really quickly, but both of these decks showing a lot of resilience. Got a Deathrite Shaman with Ben. Actually really good for him, because that Deathrite Shaman represents possibly 4 damage.
That is...
Generous Plunderer?
I think it's Generous Plunderer.
Getting Mana Leaked here. As Generous Plunderer would have been a very, very good card once again for Ben to resolve. But yeah, as I was saying, this Deathrite Shaman actually kind of represents 4 damage. It is, yeah. So turn 2. So Ben actually can do, or no, it doesn't represent 4 damage. It represents 2. 2 damage, putting. Getting a little ahead of myself, but yeah. Either way, also Deathrite Shaman kind of getting rid of key cards from graveyards. Storm deck's notorious for using their graveyard as a resource, so Deathrite Shaman kind of being able to negate that somewhat. And BK, how about you explain what Limdol's Vault does?
Well, Limdol's Vault, this is a heck of a Magic card. Printed originally in Alliances. It allows the player to look at the top 5 cards in a library. Then you can choose to keep those 5 or pay a life and look at the next 5. You keep going through your deck 5 cards at a time until you find ones you want to stop on. And then you arrange those cards in any order you want and put them on top of your deck.
And then you shuffle your deck afterwards so that the remainder of the deck remains randomized.
Yeah, everything outside of those 5 cards is shuffled. Yeah.
All right. Win has twice decided that he did not like the 5 cards.
I mean, he can. It's. This is a done deal, I think. There's nothing.
Okay, Win has to. Win now at a situation where he has to win this turn, or he loses the game.
He's going to keep this Time Twister. I think Win's actually in a situation where this game would be done if all those Esper Sentinel triggers would have been would have happened. He quite possibly should have reminded Ben that he gets to draw a card, because then he would have got the Orcish Bowmaster triggers off and would be able to shoot him a few times.
Yeah.
But then again, you give your opponent like 3 extra cards, you don't know.
Yeah, Win also not shuffling the deck, with not really going to matter here as the top 4 cards are known, and I don't think we're going to get through any of those. All 4 of the top cards are lands.
Yeah. Pretty sure he's just going to
land.
Demonic. If I'm Win here, I Demonic Tutor for a High Tide or something like that.
Yeah, Demonic Tutor for High Tide. Get that Time Twister going, and then have a rip-roaring good time Twister.
Oh, he could get a Palancron. He could, or no, he's not going to do that.
Palancron doesn't actually do anything without a High Tide.
Does nothing right here, yeah. I just saw the Palancron, I got excited.
Yes, I have actually played against Win and gotten Palancroned a couple of times.
I think it's Win's favorite mode in this deck is just like getting a High Tide plus Palancron. With those 2 cards, if you have enough lands in play, you can just make infinite mana. And then usually not too hard to defeat your opponent after that. Do you see what he got?
I did not see what he got, actually. I think he played it a little bit close to the chest. I can't imagine it is anything other than High Tide.
He distracted us with Palancrons.
You did distract with Palancrons. It's okay. Palancron is a very distracting card. A weird goose, bug, pelican thing.
It's a dragon. No, it's not a dragon.
But it's all an illusion.
It's just an illusion.
All right, 1 mana.
Where's the face on Palancron?
It's right there.
Okay.
It's like a beak. All right, High Tide being cast. All right, is Win breaking out the EVs? Yes, Win is breaking out the EVs. Since I have played against Win, I get to know, I can decipher this for you. All right, so on the top is Jolteon. Jolteon is the Storm count. Next is Glaceon. Glaceon is the amount of blue mana in the mana pool. Then there's Umbreon, which is the one on the right, in the bottom 2, which is the amount of black mana that Win has in the mana pool. What is missing is...
he's going to flood for his Demonic Tutor?
Yep.
And then he's going to Demonic Tutor... We can't Demonic Tutor for Time Spiral. That's an issue. He could Demonic Tutor for...
Tendrils would be my guess.
He could do that. He could also...
Although...
If he's feeling real tricky, he could go get Yawgmoth's here, replay his... I think he has enough mana to replay his Frantic Search from his graveyard then.
I think Frantic Search might have gotten exiled with Dig Through Time.
Okay. getting a little bit of glare on the old graveyard.
I believe Frantic Search was exiled with Dig Through Time. All right, so they're cut straight to Yawgmoth's Will. It's like it's screaming for it.
I hope Yawgmoth's Will's here.
I do see he has Palinchron pulled to the front, though. Both players just double-checking the storm count here, which I believe is 3. Demonic Tutor was cast, Flood of Recollection was cast, and High Tide. Although, actually, Demonic Tutor was cast... It might be higher. High Tide, Demonic Tutor, Flood of Recollection, so we're at storm count 4.
It's looking at a turnabout. That's kind of cool.
Turnabout. As we were talking about the previous game, Turnabout allows you to net mana when High Tide has been cast. Although we haven't brought High Tide up, but anybody who's not familiar with High Tide, it is a 1-mana instant that allows you to, until end of turn, all islands produce an additional blue.
The best High Tide art.
Not the one that Win is running.
Most go with Amy Weber over Drew Tucker.
But notably, High Tide is symmetrical, but Ben not having any islands. All right, Turnabout being cast here. Untapping all of Win's lands.
And you got to float 2 mana as well, I think.
And all of Win's lands are islands. So Win has... That's
a Lorien Revealed and a...
Lorien Revealed and a Time Twister. Yeah. So Time Twister being cast.
Not casting the Lorien Revealed.
I don't think he needs to.
It would kill his opponent because it would do 3 to his opponent and then 7 more.
Lorien Revealed is only you.
But
yeah.
Sorry, chat. Sorry, Chris. Sorry, Win. I think what Win probably said was, I'm going to shoot all of your guys, and then I'm going to attack with a gigantic orc army, and you're going to be dead. That's what I would assume.
So this match is going to go down as a 1-1 draw.
Unless something weird happened.
And an interesting... I can run and go confirm that, but as far as I'm aware, that is what our result's going to be. Really interesting first match. Both players just kind of showing the resilience of their decks. Ben kind of staying in there on a mulligan to 5, but it wasn't quite able to close it out.
Second round pairings are up.
All right, we have the second round pairings happening, so might actually...
No breaks for BK and Chris.
No breaks. Do you need one?
I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll run out if it's an emergency.
Fair enough, I can scoot in. But yeah, let's go ahead and clear our screen here, do a little bit of housekeeping while we're doing. But what are your thoughts?
I thought that was a pretty cool first round, although a little...
Yeah, we... due to shortcutting, we didn't quite get to see exactly how Win won. But yeah, pretty sure BK was correct. Win was going to basically say, I'm going to draw 7... You're going to draw 7 cards with the Time Twister, which allows me to kill all of your creatures with the Orcish Bowmasters. And then I get to attack with a 14/14 Orc army, which, as the life totals haven't been reset there, you can kind of see that is more than 10. All right, handshake going out.
Good luck in the next round. We're both live.
Let's see here. They can just bloop. There we go. We don't need that High Tide anymore. All right, what do we got here? I'm gonna run up and go ask Judge who we've got here.
Edward and Timothy Nichols.
Alright. Mono red prowess, I think he's on. He's on a mono red. Just say mono red. We'll figure it out. Alright, Edward is on the bottom screen. We were just talking about this guy at the beginning of the broadcast. It's cool to see.
What's the other one? Ryan Nichols?
No, Timothy Nichols, Nichols. We'll figure out what deck he's on. Is this one? Yeah. All right. Well, while we're looking for Nichols, here's my deck list. What do we got here? Goblin Scraps. Ooh. All right. With a name like Goblin Scraps, I can only imagine that the person on the play is really, really important, even more so as both players are on aggressive deck lists. Timothy's hand doesn't look particularly great. I think he's got a... you forgot to save it.
I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, taking a quick mulligan, I think it was like 5 lands. Kumano faces Sekenzin, or whatever.
Okay.
And... all right. Both players taking a mulligan. Not happy with their 7. Let's take a look at this Goblin Scrap stack real quick here. All right. So the Goblin deck, it's like a Goblin artifact, kind of like a Goblin Aristocrats deck. Running a bunch of goblins and other honorary goblins. Broadside Bombardiers, Brea's Apprentice, everybody's favorite, Gut, Price of Progress. Yeah, so kind of like a Mardu artifact aristocrat style deck for Timothy. And Edward on mono red prowess. Timothy's keeping his 6, and Edward is also keeping his 6. Welcome back. All right, we will find out which player won the die roll. It looks like Timothy was. He's going to start with a Great Furnace and a Goblin something, maybe. I don't know how you got that one view.
It's a wreck. No, is it?
No. It's going to be a one mana.
Did you switch it to this?
I tried to switch to that. I don't actually know what the original view is. It might be Goblin Tomb Raider. It's the only card that I didn't recognize. It is, in fact, Goblin Tomb Raider. Goblin Pirate, 1/2. As long as you control an artifact, it gets +1/+0 in haste, which Great Furnace is. So
the kind of card that Edward would appreciate.
Yes. So
I think Edward is playing a Furnace Scamp here.
Possibly. I don't actually know very well. Certainly not a Rakdos Cackler. All right.
No.
Nope.
Let's find out.
Cacophony
Scamp.
Yeah, you got the scamp part right.
That's close.
Yes. All right, another attack for 2 here. Spire of Industry, Mitra's Bauble. All right, Edward blocking here. An early block.
He is going to get to deal a point of damage to any target. He's chosen his opponent and not himself.
He has chosen his opponent's creature, actually, to take it out. All right, we have an Arcbound Ravager. That card is going to be very difficult for Edward to deal with, I think.
Yeah, Arcbound Ravager, the classic Fairy Godmother. Lets you sack creatures, put +1/+1 counters on it, and then you can also sack itself to... It also has modulars, so if it ever dies, it can put all its counters on any other artifact creature, and its sacrifice an artifact can include itself, so it can just choose to do that anytime it wants.
All right.
Edward has a Amped Raptor, which is going to bring up an Earthshaker Kenra, so he's going to get, for 2 mana, he's going to get both of these great 2-drops.
And come in with that Earthshaker Kenra as it makes Arcbound Ravager unable to block. All right. Wait, is that a Mishra's Bauble? That's a Mishra's Bauble, right? Not losing my mind.
That was a Mishra's Bauble.
It was a Mishra's Bauble.
It's a sketch version, so understandable.
I believe looked at the top of Edward's deck, drew a card. Now we have a Tolarian Academy.
Juice up what's happening a little bit. It's going to give him access to
2 mana.
An extra mana there. He's casting.
Both of us are pretty decent at Magic, but even neither of us are.
Is that Twin Shot Sniper? Or
it might be Breya's Apprentice. No.
Legion Extruder?
No. Whatever it is, it has haste.
Yeah, it cost him 3 mana. I think it's Reaches.
No. Not exactly
Krenko?
sure.
It's Krenko. Baron of Tin Street.
Krenko, Baron of Tin Street.
This card's kind of bananas.
Although we did kind of miss what happened with the Arcbound Ravager. All right, both players at 14. Blazing Root Walla. Edward's post-attack play. It is a Root Walla, therefore it has Madness. That much I know.
Yeah, it's a 1/1. You can pay red 1 to give it +2/0 until end turn once per turn, and Madness is for 0. It's kind of just like a cool switch on the Basking Root Walla.
All right. Pay 1 red to get +2/+0. All right. So
that Amped Raptor.
Skull Clamp. Very, very good card. 2 mana for...
It looks like a Barrowglyph. It's a new card from MH3 Commander.
Yep.
And recently added to the Vintage Cube. That's why I know it. It's a Death Touch Lifelink Tarmogoyf for 3 mana. So for 1 more mana than Tarmogoyf, you get a Death Touch and Lifelink. But also, if it deals combat damage to your opponent, you can mill as many cards as it deals damage and put a creature card from among them into your hand.
Yes, a very, very good card, and also has one of Edward's favorite abilities, Lifelink. I say that jokingly.
Yeah.
Edward is not super well versed against dealing with Lifelink.
He actually kind of is. He has a lot of cards that rob Lifelink from his opponent.
He's run Skullcrack. I think he's got Rampaging Ferocidon as well, one of his pet cards that he claims he got unbanned from Standard. Nobody can disprove it.
The classic Sulfuric Vortex as well.
Yes.
I think he's got more than that, though.
Dealing with a 4 toughness creature, though, with mono red is a little bit more difficult, though. As most red and most burn is traditionally 3 damage.
Yeah, Barrowglyph kind of gets you two ways because like it's also like that's not a comfortable card to remove as the red player.
No, it's not. It's 3 mana, so you have to have Revolt if you're running Fatal Push. The Lurgoyf text, caring about card types and graveyards. It is difficult. I believe Edward is sitting with a Price of Progress in hand, which is representing 6 damage.
Not bad.
That is pretty good for 2 mana.
And one misstep from the opponent could make it 8.
Yes, Edward is a big fan of Price of Progress. As you can see, he is all basics at the moment. So while Price of Progress is a symmetrical effect, not actually symmetrical. Bring chat back up. Can you bring chat back up?
Fredward looks like he's got some fans in the chat.
Yes, he does.
I kind of dig this guy, this Grixis scrap stack.
It's actually Mardu. I think the Solarian Academy is in there specifically just to produce only colorless mana. Functionally colorless mana.
Fair. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no blue cards in...
It's actually just black-red. I don't even see white cards in it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well then.
Oh my gosh.
Is it still Edward's turn?
I think it is Edward's turn. I think it's a light up the stage in his hand.
It might be Skewer the Critics as well. Light up the stage, Skewer the Critics. I think both of those got similar treatments. All right, he is passing the turn. Didn't quite see what Timothy drew. Timothy also sitting with a Price of Progress in hand.
His does not seem as good.
Yes, the Price of Progress is a little bit worse for him. What was that card? My guess would be he's 2 mana.
That is the
Yes, Planeswalker, this is
Goblin
the first game of their match.
Tinkerer. It's
That's an old card.
no, it's new. This is the new Goblin Welder, or newer
It looks like an older set symbol, but I might be.
Goblin Engineer.
Goblin Engineer?
He just has the retro order of it.
Does it just not have a set symbol in the... Oh, Time Swaller Remastered. Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, this is gonna let him get a artifact put into his graveyard, and then later it can do Goblin Welder type things for 1 red mana, but only getting back an artifact that costs 3
Getting
or less.
Legion Extruder into the graveyard. A really, really good card. It's
Yeah, this is a big score card.
2 mana, gets to Legion Extruder. Gets to deal 2 damage to any target, and then when it enters the battlefield, and then you can pay 2 and sacrifice a different artifact to create a 3/3 Golem artifact creature. So yeah, it just kind of gets out of hand really, really fast.
Can do some cool stuff,
Yeah.
especially with Barrow Ghoul milling things into your graveyard if he connects. Or Barrow Goyf.
Yeah. It's all right. I'm imagining that there's going... Is it Tarfire?
All right. Edward's going to go upstairs with the Tarfire and then
And
Play with Fire. Both just kind of shocks with Odal upside. Notably, that Tarfire is going to make the Barrowglyph a little bit bigger.
What doesn't grow dies, and what dies grows the Barrowglyph? I believe that's how the flavor text goes. All right, and the top deck is a Lightning Strike. Timothy is at 9, mind you, not 6.
It's going to untap. We're going to see a Price of Progress.
For
It's gonna
6, put him to 3.
6, and
sacrifice 2 lands for
Blast.
Fire Blast. And just like that, Edward gets around the lifelink of the Barrowglyph, not actually mattering, as
I don't. Do you understand why did Barrowglyph not attack?
I don't
in that
know.
trend?
I think Timothy might have been a little afraid of Edwards. Like both of them are playing similar decks, so
Maybe he didn't want to lose it.
yeah, didn't want to lose it. Didn't want to risk the crackback. It's only like if you equipped the yeah, exactly. Solid spell slinging. It's Edward's favorite thing to do. 4 spells in almost as many seconds. That's
So-
just what he does.
Yep, Edward just telling Timothy that 14 life is not safe. You can't be marked safe at 14.
It is one of the most
at the end of your
terrifying
turn.
things. One of the most terrifying things about playing against Edward is that not a lot of people might think mono red just being kind of a very basic deck, a very like just kind of introductory deck, but there's a lot of play in there. But there's a lot of play in there, knowing when to point spells upstairs, when to take out threats. Like looking at that Goblin Engineer, for example, that's a really, really juicy burn target and a key part of Timothy's deck. But Edward, knowing his deck and his math very, very well, and just kind of knowing to just point everything upstairs. And
I was kidding too. I've always found like these aggro and burn and all of these like fast decks. Every motion you make in the game matters a lot because the opportunity cost of spending a mana on one thing compared to another is always there. The sequencing of it and choosing what order you direct 2 points of damage at your opponent, or which shock you play first can matter.
Yeah, it really can. And well, this is an easy mulligan for Edward as there are no lands in that hand.
Yeah.
I believe
doesn't
Timothy
have
is in a similar state.
He does have a play though. You can pyrokinesis.
He could pyrokinesis. Never mind. Timothy has 2 lands in hand. I believe he's got a Lotus Petal, which is also kind of a land.
Timmy's deck looks really cool.
Yeah. Are both players?
Looks like my kind of jam.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a BK deck.
If you had that to me and say, "Hey, do you want to play some Canadian Highlander?" I would have a lot of fun that day. I think.
Absolutely.
I really love these new Lurgoyfs, and I kind of want to build a Canlander deck with them.
Just tribal Urgoyfs?
Yeah, Lurgo travel. Even if you just play the best 4 that are in the Vintage Cube right now.
Barogoyf, Pyrogoyf.
Nethergoyf and Tarmogoyf.
Good old Tarmogoyf.
Good old Tarmogoyf.
Make Tarmogoyf great again. Would you run the nest?
Maybe. Yeah. Like
it is an enchantment.
Maybe I'll do that next.
How do we all the Goyfs? Nope, don't want that.
Yeah, I think we
How
have
do
to
we
be in the
moderate
moderating.
Valuable tipper F. Enjoy your time in chat. It's going to be short. I don't know how you moderate.
Learning
All
how
right,
Twitch
Lotus Petal.
works.
All right, Edward's first play is a Ragavan. Honorary Goblin. A Lotus Petal and a... Is that a Valakut? That's not a Valakut, is it?
On his side, I think it's that arena.
Arena of
the
Glory.
Yeah.
How did we get a borderless in there? That is Arena of Glory. There we go.
Should have came in.
It did intertapped.
Okay.
He intertapped and the Lotus Petal were his first play. Nope. Cancel. No. Is it this one? This one? Show my actions. We'll figure it out. All right, Fiery Islet, Edwards, play. Looks like there was a Molten Collapse, I believe, that took out the Ragavan. Abbot of Carroll Keep, Edward's second play of the game. I can play with it.
Okay.
All right, Mountain being exiled with Abbot of Carroll Keep.
Man, I love Abbot of Carroll Keep.
No lands to be able to be played, so...
It's like one of my favorite newer things in Magic is just playing cards off the top of my... exiling cards off the top of my deck and playing them. I'm a sucker for any card that does it.
Ooh, Edward
And a
drew
Black
and
Lotus to
played
the field of play.
Is Black Lotus a good card?
It makes 3 mana. The downside is you have to do something cool with it.
Yeah, I don't think it's very good. It only adds 3 mana one time.
3 of some color mana. Looks like he has chosen red.
All right. Spending 2 of it to dash a Zergo Bellstriker,
Yes.
a much worse Ragavan.
This is why Black Lotus is so good. It lets you play your Zergo Bellstriker faster.
Yet another burn spell. It's not Lava Coil. What is that?
It looks
A redundant 2 mana burn spell, giving 2 prowess triggers to the Abbot of Carroll Keep. So this is an attack for 6 from Edward. And he is now using his last mana to Titan Strength. Mutagenic Growth. Timothy might just be dead here. 5 mana, 5 power plus 4 is 9. Plus 4, 13. There's an attack for 13. And just like that, Timothy is down to 4. Black Lotus was pretty good there. And Ragavan goes
did
back.
a lot, yeah.
Zergo goes back to hand. That Nile Spellbomb not looking particularly important here. And Timothy might be going down here as it looks like he kept a 1-lander that didn't quite get there.
okay. Maybe sacrifice Black Lotus, dash Zergo Bellstriker as a defensible play.
It is possibly pretty good. But that sounds like results-oriented thinking.
Exactly.
We need more experiences to find out here.
How much prowess did that?
There was 4. We had
Okay,
Black
so he did
Lotus,
4.
Mutagenic Growth, Titan Strength, and that redundant burns. Incendiary Flow, actually? I believe that's what that
I think
was.
it was Incendiary Flow. Good.
All right, and Edward takes it down 2-0. That was fast.
Lit him up.
That's kind of what happens when you get
20
2 aggressive decks. And that
20
was...
points of life, not a lot.
Was
to
that
start
turn
with.
3?
That was 2 It's 2 games.
No, was that turn 3? I believe that was a turn 3. Edward's first play was play Ragavan. It died. Play 2 was play Abbot of Carroll Keep. Play 3, yeah, that was turn 3. Edward managed to get Timothy to concede there. Technically, it would have taken him until his 4th turn to kill him. But a turn 3 win nonetheless, that'll go down, and
Flawless red play. I saw not a mistake by
Yes.
our hero.
yes, Edward, all eyes on Edward as he is...
I hate to show bias, but Edward is largely responsible for this event happening.
Yes, he is. Him and Judge, but a lot Edward. Edward is...
Yeah, they both... Our head judge, named Judge,
yes,
and
our
Edward
Judge.
have been like kind of have pretty much guided this entire format at the store forever.
Yeah, if you find another match, go ahead and let us know. Go ahead and talk about it. I'm
And yeah, they've been great they've been dedicated to this format for several years now, holding Wednesday night candlelighter events at Misty Mountain Games every week. Always trying to grow the community, always trying to make people feel welcome to play here, and to finally get a bigger event on camera and show off the format to people has been kind of been a dream for us, and it's great to finally do it. It's great to see Edward playing it, have fun with his favorite cards, and light somebody up for 20 damage in 3 turns. That's pretty great too. Yeah, this is cool. You know, just we're gonna. It sounds like Judge is gonna get us another match, possibly, or is lining us up in some more games. So we'll see if that happens soon. But meanwhile, hey, you want to see all those red cards you just saw? Let's look at the deck. I think a good way to do this one is probably by mana value and then sort by name. So we start off with our zeros, you know, the classic Black Lotus and Mox. Edward could have chosen to do 3 Moxes. There's 2 major setups that people generally do in Canadian Highlander. Either you can do like one of the big cards plus something else, and Black Lotus is an advantage. It's 7, so you can play 1 Mox with it for your 10 points. But otherwise, the other big cards, as you can see, are Flash, Thassa's Oracle, Time Vault, Time Walk, and Ancestral Recall. You can also go with Mana Crypt route. I don't see that choice as much. But this is kind of a more build-around thing. But if you want really fast mana and you want a red, you go with Black Lotus. Moving on to his deck. Let's see what else he does. Next thing we can see is a lot of 1-drops. Out of 100 cards, he plays 35 cards that all cost 1 mana. And it's a pretty close to... Man, they don't give me the ability. I was hoping to be able to switch this to a type so we could see the spell creature split. But if you look, it's a pretty good split between the best 1-drop red creatures you've ever seen and 1 mana burn spells and pump spells. Then we get our 2s, another 26 cards. He has chosen a lot of card advantage red creatures here. Abbot of Carol Keep, Amped Raptor is a new addition you saw that first game did quite a bit to punch through some damage and get a board presence for Edward. Dreaded Arcanist, classic way to replay your burn spells. He also has a good number of pump effects, so he can go a little bigger with the Dreaded Arcanist at times. You got the Earthshaker Kenra, get through blockers, Electrostatic Infantry, a growing creature, one of the more spells you play. Feldon, haste, and can also get you some extra cards. The Firebrand Archer to add a little damage to all your spells.
We got another match going on. They're going to be playing their game 3. It's Seth versus Levi.
Seth
DeVries versus Levi.
All right, looks like we got another matchup. So we're gonna go over there. Stop talking about red decks.
Looks like I just came back just in time. Got to do some housekeeping really quick. Levi Zernick would be my guess.
And Seth DeVries. So Seth's
another local player.
Probably the boogeyman of Misty Mountain Games as far as Canadian Highlander goes. What's that?
I'll say yeah. Boogeyman.
This guy 3-0s our events on a regular basis.
Yeah, he's playing a mono white Death in Texas deck. Levi, we will find out what he's playing. He's not playing mono red Parlous. Looks like Levi taking possibly a quick mulligan, or is that we might have the names switched as well?
Yeah, we'll see. I'll switch him if we find out. He's playing Gruul Monsters.
Yes, we have the decks switched for sure. So
okay. So I'll get that fixed.
So we'll get that fixed while we do that. So as we were saying, Seth, One of the best Magic players that I've ever played against. Just overall very well versed with his deck as well. Playing a mono white deck that just kind of, I believe people locally call it mono white ruin your evening. It just stops you from doing anything. He's running cards like Archon of Emeria, like we saw against Win in his Storm deck, but also both Thalias. And just a bunch of other value white cards that just kind of slow opponents down and just make them just make a deck grind. And there aren't very many decks that are well versed to grind. However, Levi might have a magic bullet here with Gruul Monsters, as Gruul Monsters is one of those decks that just kind of can go over the top of whatever it is that Seth is doing and just kind of beat face.
Yeah, classic way to deal with a horde of small aggro creatures, to play creatures just a little bit bigger than them.
A little bit bigger.
It's one of my favorite tactics.
Yes,
for sure.
As a green player myself, Kowal Monsters is pretty close to my heart here.
Hopefully you'll see some good bias from me and Chris towards the mid-range, because we love it.
Also, let me just update these, as both players are 1-1. This is game 3. I believe Seth probably took the second game.
Yeah, it looks like Seth started with a mulligan.
All right, we have a Mana Vault. We have some shortcutting going on, but a set of Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
A weird shortcut to take, since you have to take the land out anyway before you could draw 2 and discard. Or I guess you don't draw.
No, you create the Goblin token here. So yeah, Levi searching for an untapped red source. It's probably going to be a Taiga to then play that. Well,
we do have a Goblin available too.
Oh wait, how did he get the extra red mana?
It's red too.
Yeah, but
it's a Mana Crypt.
Oh, it's Mana Crypt, not Mana Vault. Yeah, I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right. So, yeah, quick turn to Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Goblin Shaman that does everything incoming. We gotta be careful. Is that I believe this is the only Goblin Shaman token that we have in the story, unless Levi has Zone, which he might entirely.
All right, we're gonna see a.
That is a Spirit on
Sanctifier in back, right?
Back. Yes, on. So I got the on part.
Sanctifier.
Yes, Sanctifier on back. Protection from black and red. That's pretty good. All cards that are black or red from all graveyards. If a black or red permanent spell,
okay.
Kind
of the best possible card here.
Yeah, just 2/2 that bricks this Goblin Shaman.
And of course, Fable of Mirror Breaker. If you're not familiar with this, you probably don't play any Magic format that exists.
It's Scourge of Pioneer at the very
It's a
least.
popular one. It makes a 2/2 Goblin Shaman on step 1. Next Saga step, you get to discard up to 2 cards and draw 2. And the final one, it flips into a Kiki-Jiki light, a 2/2 that can copy other creatures you have to play.
Ooh, that's rough. That protection from red really kind of getting there with that. That's the I can't remember which Universes Beyond card that is from.
That's a Mawlock, I think.
Yeah, the one that gets to fight a creature, but it cannot fight a card that has protection from red.
Yeah. Why was they ship the Goblin into the Sanctifier?
He did ship the Goblin in. I'm assuming he just wants the treasure.
He might really want.
They want that treasure.
I think we should assume he really wants the treasure here.
Yeah, that's the only reason to attack there. Levi's hand being an Elves of Deep Shadow and some other cards. All right, we have a pass from Seth with 2 white mana up. Taking another 3 damage from that Mana Crypt. Live by the Mana Crypt, die by the Mana Crypt, we always say. Yeah, that Sanctifier on back actually just kind of being a major pain for Levi here. We get the flipped Fable, the Mirror Breaker, into Reflection of Kiki Jiki. Lelia hitting the battlefield now.
Yeah, the reflection, it's not too bad with the Moloch.
Yeah, it's fine.
Staring at the Sanctifier, which I believe is a 2/2.
It is a 2/2. So Lelia can attack. You want to bring Lelia up. Lelia's got a pretty safe attack. However, it looks like we are getting a. What is that?
What happened to Lelia?
It got something.
Oh, got lost. That's a get lost.
Get lost. Lelia went the way of Fibblethip and got lost.
It's a removal spell out of Lost Catacombs of Ixalan. Destroys target creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. You get 2 map tokens.
Sorry, Planeswalker. I think your tagline for a deck comment is for the mono white ruin your evening. Yes, that is a very great tagline, and it is actually on a mulligan, still holding its own with a protection from red. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, the draw here.
Seth a little constricted on mana at only 2, but luckily he's playing a deck of tons of.
Also has a Solitude in hand, so he is not
creatures.
going anywhere really. Despite the restrictions on mana, I believe that Seth is in a very good spot here. He's got probably the best card in his deck against something that is just running a bunch of red stompy creatures. Mana Crypt roll here. Evens, so no damage there. Sanctifier on back being the hero here. I believe there's it wasn't broadside buff next to draw. I don't know what that is. Alright. We got 4 mana for a.
Looks like a Tyranid of some kind. That looks like something right out of the Tyranid's deck. I'm guessing.
I don't actually know. It's a green card. All right, Kiki Reflections of Kiki or Reflection of Kiki.
Is that an Undermount Adventure?
No. Is no.
That's a Yavimaya Iconoclast.
Yes. All right, and it is getting copied, so we can bring that up really quick here.
This is a
looks like it gets
3/2.
I see. I see. All right.
Trample, and if you kick it, it gets +1/+1 in haste until end of turn.
All right, so it looks like it was kicked.
It should. Oh wait, I was
It's
like.
got the Reflections of Kiki Jiki copying it, so we've got an attack for 7.
Well, there's a 3/2, a 4/3, and the Moloch attacking
yes.
for it's a 4/4. So
Sanctifier
probably
on
just
back,
gonna
marking the 4.
make the Moloch bounce and take 7 damage here, which is
Not nothing.
reasonable.
Seth going down to 13. Waiting for players to update the life totals. Seth very much pen and paper player, so possibly not used to using the thing, but I believe Seth is at 13. Draw for the turn is Champion of the Parish. Yes, 13 all is the life total. Thank you, Levi. Champion of the Parish to play. BK, when you tap your stuff, which direction do you tap?
The wrong way.
You tap the wrong
I
way?
tap
The way
to the
that
left.
Seth is tapping?
Yeah, the opposite direction that the tap symbol tells me to.
Yes, all right. So we
When it-
have
when
a
it gave me
Solitude being cast here. On Seth's turn, exiling Thalia for the evoke cost. To pay for the evoke cost anyway. Getting rid of the Reflections of Kiki Jiki.
That's going to keep the Iconoclast from multiplying further.
All right, what do we got? Evens the play here, so, or evens the roll. So again, no damage from the mana crit.
Looks like he picked up it down to the bugbear.
Yep.
I can tell by the module.
Yep.
The D&D module version.
You know, sometimes alternate versions of cards are actually very nice, as they are instantly recognizable. The module printing being one of them.
Yeah, that one actually pops.
What is this? This looks like it is an altered.
What is that?
Something. Whatever it was, it dealt damage.
Lightning bolt? Is that one of those weird lightning bolts?
I have no idea. It is exiled because it is a red card. So we can assume that it's lightning bolt. And we have a broadside bombardiers, I believe, is the play. Maybe. Is that what that is? Broadside bombardiers?
No, that's.
Or is that the initiative one?
That's Cunning Coyote.
Oh, it is Cunning Coyote. Yes.
It's a 2/2 haste. When it enters the battlefield, another creature gets +1/+1 until and haste until end of turn.
All right, so we are coming in. All right, once again, the Maul Lock being blocked here by the Sanctifier on Beck.
Why does Cunning Coyote have a token on it?
Map token.
Oh, okay. And the revealed card on top of his deck is...
Possibly.
Is that thing?
It is a Universes Beyond card. That is all I can help you with. It's got the Universes Beyond frame.
Definitely a creature.
Synth
Eradicator. I love Synth.
All right, well, he is playing it, so we're breaking it up. An energy card.
Another haste creature. Oh, I played this one in Cube recently. The other cool thing, like our nickname for Canadian Highlander is Cube Constructed.
Yes, it is basically constructed cube.
If you love Cube, I think this is probably the constructed format you probably.
Yes,
We'll give you a
it
lot of
really,
fun.
really is. Yeah, it's better than Vintage if you like Cube because you. Yeah, it's definitely better than Vintage if you enjoy Cube because in Vintage everybody's playing all the power and all of that. It looks like Levi is going to take this game down. Seth
just rough time with the mana.
Yeah, on a mulligan to 6, rough with the mana, and had a lot of removal spells, but unfortunately wasn't quite able to get there. And like we were saying, it looks like Gruul Stompy things, kind of the boogeyman for the boogeyman.
Yep, just a never-ending string of monsters, even with that Sanctifier and Vec holding off everybody. Still just kind of got it done. Just kept. Here's another big guy.
Yep. Can you deal with this?
Yeah.
Can you deal with this?
A big advantage was most mono red decks would get bricked super hard by that Sanctifier, but the fact that so many of his creatures were 3/3 or larger, like you just swing them all in, and you get to block one of them, but the rest of these guys are getting through.
Yeah. It's certainly one of my favorite things about playing green X cards is that, you know, when it's working, it's just kind of, you just keep making your opponent have to have answers. It's like, can you answer this? Can you answer this? How about this? And some decks, for whatever reason, don't have all of the answers. All right. Do you want to take a break?